Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Ichigo gets Unohana and Isane pregnant in harem? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content, and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the Lord Darkness 69 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story. Link in the description. Let's start this video. Can never let out our true emotions show. True love can only be felt when both are true about their feeling and there is no room for doubt. Retsu Unohana. After the battle with Isane, Ichigo is badly wounded and had to be immediately shifted to the 4th Squad barracks to heal him. Because of his efforts in the war against Isane, Unohana, the captain of Squad 4, decided to heal him personally. Ichigo had intrigued her, and she decided to get to know the Soul Reaper better. Somehow this substitute Reaper had sparked in her a desire or longing for someone. This was quite odd because as of late she didn't think of these things at all, but recent events relating to Ichigo started a flame in the heart of the captain of the 4th Division. After 14 hours had passed after Unohana finished patching up the orange-haired Shinigami, she looked out of the treatment room window to the moon. The moon is quite lovely today. It was even more beautiful as the moonlight lit up the room and Ichigo's face was clearly visible now. My. He certainly has a calm face while he is sleeping. Unohana let out a smile seeing Ichigo's drooling face. Now I will wrap things up today and go to my room. Morning next day, Ichigo woke up with a shock. He was sweating profusely. That was a really bad dream. Yuzu, can you get me glass of water? He got the water, but it was not from Yuzu or Karen but from a lady in a Captain Haori. Ichigo screamed to his heart's content, who are you and how did you get into my bedroom? The lady he was speaking to just laughed at the question. You are mistaken, Kurosaki Ichigo. This is not your room, but a healing ward at the 4th Squad barracks. You were brought here after the fight with Isane. She laid hands on Ichigo's shoulder. Don't you recognize me, Ichigo? It's me, Captain Unohana. I was one of the few people who came to your aid when you were in a bit of a mess. Ichigo remembered back in Hueco Mundo when he and his crew were caught in a sticky situation. It was Captain Unohana, Kenpachi, Byakuya and the freaky scientist Mayuri who came to their aid. Ichigo was embarrassed. I am sorry, Captain Unohana. My mind is still blurry. Please forgive me. Don't worry about it, Ichigo-kun. She smiled. All your checkups are done. You are good to go. Ichigo got up from the bed. Gee, thanks, Captain Unohana. I feel good as new. It must have been a pain to patch me up. No worries, just be sure to keep yourself out of trouble, okay? Unohana then waved goodbye. The orange-haired boy has piqued her interest. While treating him, he had a good look at his body, the slim waist, the muscular hands and the six-pack abs he was sporting. When she is around him, she loses her reasoning and starts to take over. These feelings were long forgotten by Unohana, but something about Ichigo ignites that spark in her once again. Emergency Captain meeting. All captains of the Godai 13 please assemble in the Squad 1 barracks. All the captains assembled in front of Captain Yamamoto the captain. Unohana notices Ichigo standing right next to him, which made her suspicious and was getting hints on why they were summoned by the captain. Old man Yama spoke up. Captains, as you can see, Ichigo will be joining us for this meeting here today. We have to commend this boy. He has played a key part in capturing that bastard Susk Isane. From the moment he and his group of friends invaded the Soul Society, he has proven his worth to us, defeating 3rd seat Akaka Madarame, Gatekeeper Jidambo, 2 captains that are high-level fighters, Kenpachi Zarachi and Byakuya Kuchiki. At this, Kenpachi looked at Ichigo and grinned. I am still waiting for a rematch, Ichigo. Byakuya said nothing but gave a faint smile, remembering the day of the final clash they had at Sokayaka Hill. This made Unohana blush a little, as at that point she didn't think of Ichigo even capable of achieving these feats. Yamamoto proceeded, so staring today I appoint him as a lieutenant of Squad 10 as he deserves it, and Captain Hitsugaya is well acquainted with the orange hair. Hitsugaya questioned this. Captain, we all have a lieutenant already. Yama replied to this, there is no harm in having another second in command now, does it, Captain Hitsugaya? Now all of you are dismissed. Squad 10 barracks. Ichigo POV. All of the captains congratulated Ichigo for being appointed as lieutenant of Squad 10. Toshiro welcomed him to Squad 10 and introduced him to the other squad mates who welcomed him warmly. The males of the group started to hate him when they saw Lieutenant Ranjiku Matsumoto being all close and chummy, while the other females in the squad just showered him with praise. Ranjiku gave him 3 big stacks of paperwork and took out a bottle of sake and started drinking. Thanks, Ichigo, for joining. Have fun with the paperwork. Ichigo called out to her, but she was long gone. A messenger arrived with a letter. Lieutenant Kurosaki, sir, I have a letter for you from Captain Unohana. Ichigo takes the letter and reads it. Congratulations, Ichigo, on being appointed as lieutenant of Squad 10. It is a wonderful occasion to celebrate. If you are free tonight, please come by Squad 4 barracks at 8 p.m. sharp. Your well-wisher, Captain Unohana. Ichigo sighed. I wonder what all this is about. Squad 4 barracks. Unohana POV. Before sending the letter, Unohana finished writing the letter. I sure hope Ichigo comes. I really want to meet him and properly congratulate him properly. Her face turned to a shade of red as she thought of the orange-hair Shinigami. Her heart skipped a beat. She was very calm but exited as well. 8 p.m. the same day, Ichigo POV. Ichigo arrived at the barracks as instructed in the letter, and went towards Captain Unohana's room. He knocked at the door that he waited for her to answer. Unohana came out wearing a beautiful velvet kimono, and she looked amazing. You the reader would have a hard time not staring at her, because it was very hard on Ichigo part XD. Ichigo said to her, "You look amazing, Captain Unohana." Unohana smiled. "Please Ichigo, call me Retsu, do come in." Ichigo entered and he was feeling a bit uneasy as he never entered a girl's room, not even his sister's room, so thus was a new experience altogether. Unohana directed him to a table set up with candle lights. "This is a meal prepared by me. It is my way of welcoming you to the Godai." Ichigo was honored as the prettiest of all the captains had taken efforts to make a meal for him. "Thank you, Cap Retsu, for making this meal for me." They both sat and ate the food. It was a party of flavors in Ichigo. Then Retsu asked the question that started everything. "Ichigo, have you ever been with a woman before?" Unohana smiled. "Please Ichigo, call me Retsu, do come in." Ichigo entered and he was feeling a bit uneasy as he never entered a girl's room, not even his sister's room, so thus was a new experience altogether. Unohana directed him to a table set up with candle lights. "This is a meal prepared by me. It is my way of welcoming you to the Godai." Ichigo was honored as the prettiest of all the captains had taken efforts to make a meal for him. "Thank you, Cap Retsu, for making this meal for me." They both sat and ate the food. It was a party of flavors in Ichigo. Then Retsu asked the question that started everything. "Ichigo, have you ever been with a woman before?" Present 9 p.m. Unohana POV. Unohana started to ask Ichigo some questions. "So Ichigo, how are you? Are you getting used to the duties as the lieutenant of Squad 10? Ichigo nodded. "Pretty much, but Ranjiku doesn't help at all. She just shoved a bunch of paperwork on me and left with a bottle of sake, Toshiro, and I had to finish it." Unohana smiled. "Yes, that is true. Matsumoto can be very handy in combat situation but can't be relied on for normal paperwork." She looked at Ichigo and gave a grin. "So Ichigo, I heard a lot about you from the girls of Squad 10. You have a nice female following." Ichigo gave a surprised look. "Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that's new." Unohana then asked, "Are you not popular with the girls in the world of the living, like girlfriends?" Ichigo shook his no. "Most of the girls I know are just friends with me, and I don't think about that topic too much." "Oh, I see," Unohana replied. "But I was under the impression that you and Orheim-san..." Ichigo blushed. No, we are just friends." But she was a little pleased by this as she doesn't have competition from the females there. "But she had to ask anyone you like here in the Godai?" Ichigo shook his no. "Not yet. Like I said, I don't think of it too much." "Have you ever been with a girl? Like in a relationship unknown to everyone?" Unohana said to him. Ichigo POV. Ichigo dropped the glass of drink Unohana had offered. I don't know what you're talking about." Unohana caught his hand. "Please Ichigo, you can be honest with me." Ichigo blushed. "Captain Unohana, I said you to call me Retsu." Unohana gave a stern expression. Ichigo let out a sigh. "No, Retsu, I have not been with a girl. Like I said, all of them were my friends, nothing more than that." Unohana let out a chuckle. "It's hard to believe that a young man such as yourself doesn't have someone special. Could it be that you are gay?" Ichigo was now feared. "Oh no, I am not." "Geez, this is getting uncomfortable." Unohana came in close to him and whispered, "You know, girls all over this area, I have some form of affection towards you, after the Isane incident, be it normal Shinigami, lieutenants or captains." Ichigo blushed hearing this. Unohana continued, "It's really hard to imagine a handsome boy like you has not gotten into the field of love. How tragic." Unohana, with a glitter in her eyes, asked Ichigo, "What do you think of me?" Ichigo's face was bright red. "What do you mean, Retsu?" Ichigo knew that when a girl asks this question, things are getting serious. She speaks in a soft voice. "What do you think of me in terms of a woman, Ichigo? Do you find me attractive? Please answer truthfully. This is not a captain asking you, but an ordinary woman." Ichigo's face was now crimson red as Unohana looked seductively at him, and a cloud of pure was surrounding him. "Retsu, you are a very beautiful woman indeed. More beautiful than any other women I have seen." Back in the human world, Orheim sneezed. Seeing Ichigo's crimson face, she thought, well, he certainly justifies his name, Strawberry. Hearing this, Unohana gave a wicked smile. "So you are into older women, perhaps?" Unohana leaned in for and Ichigo responded by leaning in as well. Both led passionately. This turned into a full scene as now they were including a little tongue action. They were straight French ing each other. After some time of continuous action, they stopped for a breath of air. This was getting steamy due to the intense ing. Both of them were in heat. Ichigo started to feel uncomfortable. Unohana saw what the problem was. Something was sticking out of Ichigo's pants. She hesitantly pulled down his pants and his was revealed. Unohana licked her lips at the sight. "If Ichigo's, wow, that is big. Ichigo, you have quiet the assets. Ichigo began to feel embarrassed about the situation. Unohana whispered into his ear, you know something, I've been having strong feelings for you, Ichigo, for these past few days. Now I see you feel the same way. Try as you might to deny, but this little guy is very honest. Ichigo was now packing heat. The seductive looks and words of Unohana made him want her more. Unohana looked at Ichigo's feared face and smiled and began licking the long of her guest. When she heard the of Ichigo, she began the next phase. Retsu at Ichigo's. Ichigo's began to penetrate the room. Retsu, that feels amazing. How are you so good at this? Unohana gave him a seductive look again. We'll call it my powers of. I know what makes a man tick, I guess. She increased her pace, making Ichigo feel more good. Retsu, I am going to blow. Ichigo released a lot of goo into Unohana. Instead of spitting, she swallowed it. This sure has an interesting flavor. You sure are impressive, Mr. Kurosaki. Ichigo's was still throbbing. Saying this, Unohana grinned. She took off her kimono and looked at him. If you want to stick it in, you will have to put it in my ass, otherwise I might get pregnant. Ichigo, clearly in heat, asked, you sure it okay? Unohana nodded. We have come this far, so it doesn't really matter. But if you aren't comfortable, we can stop. Ichigo came closer and at her, filled with passion. He moved away, a line of saliva connecting them. No, Retsu, I want this. Let's continue. Ichigo, not able to hold on to his urges any longer, stuck it in, and Unohana screamed in blissful agony. This was intense for her, as she never had a partner for a long time. Ichigo's massive was hitting her in the right spots. Ichigo asked, are you alright, Retsu? Unohana nodded. I am fine, Ichigo. It takes time to get used to having someone penetrate you behind. You can start moving. Ichigo takes the call and starts moving slowly, but the was getting them too much. Exited. Unohana couldn't stop. Ichigo, this feels amazing. It driving me crazy. It was a great moment for both of them. Ichigo agreed. This feeling was like anything he ever experienced. Unohana, I'm going to blow. It feels too good. She gave him permission to blow his load. Let it go. Give in. Ichigo let go, and both screamed in ecstasy. They both lay on the floor hugging each other. Unohana spoke up. Well, that was intense. It was amazing. Ichigo blushed. Retsu, I love you, and I want to be with you. Unohana blushed, imagining what will others say about their relationship. Ichigo looked at her, knowing what she was thinking, pulled her close into a deep. Don't worry about the others, just tell me your answer. Unohana nodded. I love you to Ichigo. Ichigo nodded, and they both ed into the shower together to save time. Ichigo ed Retsu in the shower, and it led to another round of intense ing. It was a bright morning. Ichigo was helping Toshiro with the paperwork, as Ranjiku was nowhere to be found. Ichigo sighed. Damn it, Ranjiku, why are you not around when we need you? The silver-haired captain looked at him. Get used to it. This is always the situation around here. Toshiro also mentioned he had a sparring match with Kenpachi Zaraki in the following week. This thought gave a shiver down his spine. Every time he has a sparring match with Kenpachi, he barely gets out of it alive. Has to stay in the Squad 4 healing barracks for almost 2 weeks to recover. Dismissing the thought, Ichigo went back to the pile of paper he was working on. Suddenly a messenger came in. Captain Hitsugaya and Lieutenant Kurosaki, sorry for the intrusion, but I have a message from the captain. Yamamoto summoned Ichigo to the Squad 1 barracks. It was quite frustrating. What does the captain want with me? I do the work at the barracks, go for night rounds around the Suriyai. Don't know, guess I will find out. He entered the Squad 1 barracks and faced Old Man Yama. Ichigo decided to use formal language to not try and piss him off. Good afternoon, Captain, you summoned me. Yama looked at Ichigo. Ah yes, Ichigo. Kurosaki. Ichigo, how are your duties as lieutenant going? Ichigo nodded. It is a wonderful experience, I guess. Just Ranjiku is not always around and it's kind of annoying. All the paperwork falls on me and Toshiro. Yamamoto smiled. He starts to see how Ichigo has grown but has that same quirky attitude. It was hard to believe he helped save them time and time again from various situations. I see. Ichigo, I have summoned you here as we have detected a large know of hollow presence near your Karakura town. Go and contain the situation, will you? At the Senkamen. Ichigo was waiting near the Senkamen gate to Karakura town. What is taking them so much time to open the gate? Kasuke opens the damn thing in minutes. My, I am sorry, I guess we are not as efficient as Urahara. Ichigo was startled and looked back to see Unohana behind him. Retsu, for the love of everything holy, don't do that. Almost got a heart attack. Why are you here anyway? Unohana looked at him and you don't know why I am here? Squad 1 barracks. Yamamoto was looking into the sky when Sujiro entered. What is troubling you, Captain? Yama looked at him. I think I forgot to tell Kurosaki something. Back at the Senkamen, Ichigo stood there silent. Why didn't the old man say that Restu and Renji will be there with me? Renji arrived a few minutes later. Hello, Captain. Ichigo, are we good to go? Unohana nodded, but Ichigo had questions. Hold it, guys, I know you are going to help me. But where are you guys going to stay? Renji replied. Urahara will be allowing B to stay with them while we are there. What about you, Captain Unohana? Unohana giggled. I will be staying with Ichigo at his home. Both the men screamed in unison, ha ha ha. Ichigo blushed. I am sure Kasuke may have a spare room to give, or you can stay at Orheim's home. Unohana smiled. Yes, that's true. But I have not much normal clothes to wear, just the shahakusho, plus I want to see the town. Like go around it, and see the places, shop while handling the hollows. I hope you understand. Ichigo wondered, but why my house? Unohana came up to him and whispered in his ear, I don't have to remind you of our questionable night that no one has an idea of now, do I? Flashback. Unohana invites Ichigo to her private quarters for a personal party to congratulate him on the appointment of lieutenant. They have delicious food made by the captain for him. Then they go into a talk about how he is adjusting as a lieutenant, whether he has any interest in girls or is he in a relationship or not. During that conversation things turned steamy, and they had a wild night. Ichigo's face was now crimson red as Unohana looked seductively at him, and a cloud of pure was surrounding him. Retsu, you are a very beautiful woman indeed. More beautiful than any other women I have seen. Back in the human world, Orheim sneezed. Seeing Ichigo's crimson face, she thought, well, he certainly justifies his name, Strawberry. Hearing this, Unohana gave a wicked smile. So you are into older women perhaps? Unohana leaned in for a, and Ichigo responded by leaning in as well. Both led passionately. This turned into a full scene, as now they were including a little tongue action. They were straight French ing each other. After some time of continuous action they stopped for a breath of air. This was getting steamy due to the intense ing. Both of them were in heat. Ichigo started to feel uncomfortable. Unohana saw what the problem was. Something was sticking out of Ichigo's pants. Want further info? Read chapter 2, _. Ichigo gave in to her demands as he didn't want people hearing about their intimate night, embracing their animalistic side and getting wild. The Senkamen opened for them and Unohana stepped in, followed by Ichigo and Rinji. Rinji caught up to Ichigo and asked, you sure are chummy with Captain Unohana? Ichigo just pushed that thought away and ignored him. Rinji was persistent, though seriously, though some of the men at the Godai 13 are scared of her, she will give us the death glare while smiling. But she is kind of, lenient with you. Ichigo thought about that. While she must be one tough cookie to break, huh? Ichigo then asked Rinji, hey Rinji, is it true a lot of guys at Godai have a hots for her, Captain Unohana? Rinji nodded. I don't know the specifics, but I once heard from Captain Shunsui that at her prime, she was a beast, best fighter of the Godai 13 with looks that could kill you, of not her blade, but now I think she is not in her prime. Unohana spoke up. Who is not in her prime? Both boys stopped at the voice and Ichigo saw and felt firsthand what Rinji was talking about. She was smiling but was giving this ominous vibe that was screaming death. And no one, they said in unison. Unohana looked away and started walking. They reached Karakura town, went to Kasuke Urahara to get their jigai. Rinji stayed behind and let Ichigo and Unohana leave. Kurosaki Clinic. Ichigo forgot that he had told Yuzu and Karen that he was going away on a trip alone. He explains the situation to Retsu, and she was lost in thought. Why not I pose as the boss sister, and you can tell that my so-called brother is away, and you offered me to stay at your place. Ichigo found this reasonable enough, so he agreed to the alibi. When Ichigo opened the door to his home, he found Kigo, Mizuro, Tatsuki, Orheim, Chad, Yuri, sitting with his sisters in the living room. Ichigo called out to them, hey, where's the party at? Everyone looked at him surprised. Kigo spoke up, Ichigo, long time no dash? He stopped at the sight of Unohana. Ichigo, don't tell me you went on a scandalous adventure, and then got married to this older yet attractive lady. To this Ichigo punched him in the shut up, you idiot, geez, you are a dumbass. But Tatsuki had eyes on him locked with suspicion. So Ichigo, who is she and what is your relationship with her? Unohana came forth to the orange-haired boy's aid. Oh, I am the sister of Ichigo's boss from work. My brother is out on a business trip, so I would be alone in my home, so Ichigo offered me to stay here. Everyone screamed in unison, Tatsuki spoke up, why will you stay at his house? Can't you book a room at a hotel or something? Unohana gave a smile. My original plan was to come a day or two later for a short work, but seeing Ichigo was going to come here I tagged along. Don't worry, it won't be long, I will go very soon. Karen now asked, how long are you going to stay here? Unohana replied to her, I'm about a month and a half max. This made Orihime blush madly and fainted. Why you and Chad decided to have a chat with him? You serious, Ichigo? What's up? Ichigo looked at Yuri. You know exactly what's going on. I came back because of the hollow infestation in Karakura town. She is here to assist me, that's all. Plus Rinji is here too. Yuri calmed down hearing Renji's name. You sure this is about hollows, and not a date? Ichigo blew a fuse. What's that supposed to mean? They went inside and saw a nice group gossip going on among the girls. Kigo smacked unconscious Mizuro playing his PSP. Yuzu came up to him and said, Ms. Unohana is cool, she can stay, but no funny business. Ichigo looked at Yuzu. What that's supposed to mean? Karen chipped in. You are in that age, Ichii, where you might have thoughts about women. So behave anyway, we don't have a room to spare. Tatsuki spoke up. So Ichigo, looks like you are sleeping on the floor of your room. Ichigo cribbed at the pun. Unohana giggled. I don't mind sharing the bed with Ichigo. While Renji, Ichigo and Unohana were getting ready to leave for Karakura town, someone was looking at them from the shadows. It was Isane, and she was looking only at the orange-haired Shinigami. Even at the weekly lieutenant meeting she is always looking at the orange. Sure, there are other men in the Suriidai, but something about Ichigo caught her eye. Isane Kotetsu, the lieutenant to Unohana, always had feelings for Ichigo Kurosaki, but recently it was deepened. But whenever she saw her captain with the man, her stomach churned at the thought of Ichigo being swept away by Unohana. She had a good idea of the fact that Unohana can charm any man into submission, no case. It is quite an understatement at this point. A lot of female soul reapers have a sense of attachment to the orange hair, but her admiration is quite high. She thinks very highly of the boy and tries to take a peek at him during the checkups and time at the squad for a healing chamber. Isane remembers the events from the day before. The squad barracks at noon. The barracks were filled with patients mainly from Squad 11 as there was a group brawl at the squad's barracks between the members of the squad and Ichigo. Squad 11 earlier that day, Kenpachi basically asking for a fight. Ichigo was pissed at the fact he had to do a ton of paperwork, while Toshiro and Ranjaku were away on a mission. Ichigo passed the Squad 11 barracks and Kenpachi spoke up. Hey Ichigo, what's up? You looked pissed. You mind cooling off with a fight with me? I don't have a challenging competitor. Ichigo stopped and looked at him. Get lost, Kenpachi, not in a mood to deal with you right now. This amused Kenpachi as he has never seen Ichigo so enraged. But the rest of Squad 11 didn't take the gesture lightly and began their attack on Ichigo. How dare you speak like that to our captain? Die scum. Ichigo sighed. I guess I do have time to spare. And unsheathed his Zanpakuto. In 15 minutes tops the guys fell like flies, plus add 10 inutes more to deal with Ikaku and Yumekika. 25 minutes to the main event. Come on Squad 11, you couldn't do better than that. Aizen gave me an amusing fight than this shit. After this Kenpachi started laughing manically and charged at Ichigo. Now this is fun. Now give me a good fight, Tangerine. The Squad 4 barracks now. The healing wards were full and Kenpachi was in a bad state but still kept on laughing because of the fight with Ichigo and the intense pain in his ribs. Ichigo got some good hits on the captain, but he didn't come out of it scratch-free. He was injured quite bad, considering he didn't die. It's a miracle really. He was put under the care of Isane. Isane was quite feared as she is going to take care of the man she has a crush on. How was she going to do that without going GA over him? It's very frustrating. Then she had an idea. What if she dressed up like a nurse? A proper nurse like the ones at hospitals in the world of the living. Ichigo sat on a stretcher, and Ed in pain as he got a big gash on his torso courtesy Kenpachi Zaraki. This was 2 days ago. He was knocked unconscious during the treatment. Good morning Ichigo, glad to see you are sitting up after 2 days. So how are you? Ichigo nodded. It's all good, a little sour around the shoulders. What? Ichigo just realized what Isane was wearing instead of her regular shahakusho. She was wearing a tight-fitting nurse outfit. He could see her cleavage. Holy shit Ichigo, mine just went blank, kind of setting in. Ichigo looked at her in anguish. Isane looked at him and smiled internally to see him getting hot and bothered. Oh my Ichigo, are you having a fever? And leaned forward to check. Her melons almost touching his body. The closeness of Isane made Ichigo face like a red strawberry or equivalent to it. I will get something for that. He saw her going through the drawers and Ichigo little Zanpakuto stood up in attention to the sight of Isane in her tight nurse outfit bend down to look for things in the lower drawers of the cabinet stationed there. The way she bent down made her behind more visible and damn did Ichigo find it why. The whole situation was why. With the outfit to the bending down to the tight fitting that over-personified the curves, it was heavenly to the 16-year-old. Isane got a glimpse at the bulge in the hakama of Ichigo and let out a purr. My, did you come here to get treated or be swayed by my beauty? Said the silver-haired girl to Ichigo with a tease. Ichigo's face was now crimson seeing how Isane was playing coy. Isane came closer to Ichigo giving him a smirk unlikely of her usual demeanor. Isane whispered to him, Go, I think I have exited you, and the proof of it is in your hakama, the bulge is growing. I think I have to take care of that. Isane let out a laugh. She was so happy to hear from him how he feels. But she noticed Ichigo was hard again. Ichigo's was still throbbing. Seeing this Isane grind, she took off her nurse costume and looked at him. You are hard again, I see. Guess I will have to take care of that. She wrapped her on his and began pleasing him. Please go come on these. Ichigo looked into her eyes while he shot his load. He panted and told her, damn Isane-san, you are such a tease. Isane just giggled. Ichigo wanted to go all the way. He was very awestruck seeing her bare body in all of its glory, her curves and a right amount of tanning on the skin to make it more hot. Isane spoke up. If you want to stick it in, you will have to put it in my ass. otherwise I might get pregnant. Ichigo clearly in heat asked, you sure it okay? Isane nodded. Ichigo, I want you now. We have come this far, so it doesn't really matter. But if you aren't comfortable we can stop. Ichigo came closer and ate her, filled with passion. He moved away, a line of saliva connecting them. No, I want this. Let's continue. Ichigo, not able to hold on to his urges any longer, stuck it in, but not in her behind but in the baby maker. Isane screamed in blissful agony. This was intense for her, as she never had a partner go this far, tearing through her virgin wall, which caused a little bleeding. Ichigo's massive was hitting her in the right spots. Ichigo was shocked at this. You are a virgin, this is your first time? Isane nodded in bliss. Like I said, none of my dates stuck a found, so I never had any physical. Ichigo asked, are you alright, Isane-san? She nodded. I am fine, Ichigo. It takes time to get used to having someone penetrate you. You can start moving. Ichigo takes the call and starts moving slowly, but the IV was getting them too much. Exited. Isane couldn't stop. Ichigo, this feels amazing. It driving me crazy. It was a great moment for both of them. Ichigo agreed. This feeling was like anything he ever experienced. Unohana, I'm going to blow. It feels too good. She gave him permission to blow his load. Let it go. Give in. Ichigo let go, and both screamed in ecstasy. They both lay on the floor hugging each other. Isane spoke up. Well, that was intense. It was amazing. Ichigo blushed. Yeah, that was intense. Oh boy, that was sure a difficult trap to get out from. Ichigo responded after wiping water from his fore. He had just came out of the shower. The situation could have escalated quickly, you know. Unohana just blushed at the sight of the orange, his body still moist from the time in the shower. He still didn't wipe his body, the rays of the sun making his body glow. Retsu, you listening to me? Unohana snapped from the fantasy. Yes, Ichigo, I can hear you perfectly. You don't have to be loud. Ichigo gestured her to be silent, and went towards his bedroom door, and opened it, making Yuzu, Kaigo, Orheim, Tatsuki fall to the floor near Ichigo. So mind explaining, why were you guys listening to our convo? Kaigo, please give me an answer. Ichigo grabbed Kigo by the collar. Everyone felt that Ichigo was now pissed as he was emitting a malevolent aura. They fled for the time being. Ichigo sighed. Geez, they sure are nosy. I hope you didn't mind that, Retsu. She nodded. No, that's no problem, Ichigo. You mind if I use the showers for a tad? Ichigo ushered her an okay signal, and she winked at him, and went to the showers. Ichigo decided to go for a walk in the nearby park. Ichigo saw as the sky turned crimson for a bit, and it dissipated after a while. He decided to ignore it. It was a pleasant morning, up until the hollows showed up. It was a pain in the ass to deal with, but Ichigo took out his combat pass and turned into a Shinigami to fend them off. He managed to take down some of them, but, in the end, they were swarming up on him. Ichigo launched a Getsuga Tensho on them. It destroyed a few, but it wasn't enough no matter what he tried. Then he saw Minos, Gillian's, getting ready to fire at a girl who was on a rooftop wearing a priestess/Miko outfit. Ichigo let out a scream as he didn't want anyone else to suffer because of this fight. He put on his hollow mask and edged toward the girl to save her from the blast. To his surprise, the girl shot lightning from her palm and countered the Zero that helped create a massive crater. Ichigo looked at her, stunned. Who the hell is she? The lady sprouted wings from her back and came closer to the Minos. Era. It seems you are a bad creature to should be punished, so I say. And let out a giggle. To this the Minos shot a point-blank Zero at her. Ichigo screamed, look out. Too late, it hit her, and there was a smoke screen, so he was unable to tell anything. He only heard her voice and saw a lightning strike from on high. Like I said, you need to be punished, silly creature, and struck it with lightning until it was turned to dust. And mind you, she only fired once, and the Minos turned to ash. Girl proceeded to electrocute the living shit out of the other hollows, and Ichigo watched in amazement as they turned to ash, right before his very eyes. He didn't realize the girl was already standing next to him and proceeded to kick Ichigo, which sends him flying into a building, and then proceeds to give him shock therapy as she is electrocuting him, then stops, drills him into the building, then stops, then electrocutes him, rinse, and repeat same procedure 15 times. Ichigo proceeded to ask her, you can see me, and those hollows strange. No Juman should any able to do that, not without high spiritual pressure. The lady ignored his comments, just remarked, so those creatures are called hallows. The girl proceeds to ask him, who are you and what is your affiliation to these creatures that are, as I see it, going after human souls? Ichigo came out of the crater all battered in bruises. It felt like he was losing intense amount of blood, but he wasn't going to die yet. You know you shouldn't test yourself first before you start fights with random people. She gave a sadistic smirk. I guess that's logical. Forgive my rude behavior of electrocuting you 15 times. Ichigo gestured her to go on, and tell her name. She spoke up, my name is Akeno Himejima, a devil in service to Rias Gremory. I am also known as Priestess of Thunder. Ichigo looked at her, lady, you are sadistic as hell. Geez, do you ever tone down the sadism? Akeno giggled. I guess what about you, your affiliation? Ichigo undid the hollow mask. It was because of that he survived. Ichigo Kurosaki, lieutenant of the 10th Division of the Godai 13, part human, part Shinigami, part hollow. Akeno smiled. Your name translates to strawberry, Kuiti. And you said something of being a Shinigami, you serious? Ichigo spoke up. Oh yeah, you just happen you be a devil. Get a reality check. You are wearing shrine maiden dress and maybe you exorcise those hollows, but come on, calling yourself the devil. Akeno stopped him right there. I didn't say I am the devil. I am one of the devils serving a higher bloodline of devils, i.e. the Gremries, specifically Rias. But I haven't heard of a Shinigami existing. It is just the gods' forces, devils and the fallen angels. Ichigo nodded. Yet, but when I went to hell I didn't see you or any other devils, just these things called the Kusanada. Didn't know there were nobility down in hell. Ichigo thought about it. It can be a possibility. There are noble clans in Soul Society. So it must be true that maybe there is a hierarchical structure down in hell. Akeno, after easing a little, spoke up. Maybe we didn't know about each other's existence cause this is not my timeline, so to speak, maybe due to some event I crossed into your timeline or dimension. In short, I crossed over. Do you know any odd moment that you can recall? Ichigo looked at her. Right now I am in a sorry state, as you can see. Akeno got the hint, murmured a spell, and Ichigo was back to normal. Ichigo was amazed. Who the hell are you? Akeno smiled. I already gave you an intuition. I am a devil. Ichigo looked away. So anyway, before the hollows attacked, the sky turned red, for a few minutes, and it faded. Akeno recalled. Oh, I see, when we were dealing with a stray devil, and thought we defeated her. We were getting ready to teleport out of there. She might have attempted to attack and in turn disrupted the teleportation spell, and I was sent here, separated from my team. Ichigo felt bad for her. Can't you trace the path the spell took or something? Akeno looked at Ichigo in awe. He continued, I don't know how this magic stuff works, but if you trace your steps you should be able to go back. No? Akeno smiled. Your logic is sound, but your realm is disrupting M powers at the moment. I can only conjure lightning, that's it. Kurosaki Clinic. Unohana, after taking a shower, got dressed in a jeans and a V-neck shirt, which made her look incredibly why. She was getting bored waiting for Ichigo, so she decided to look around. She got a hold of an album containing pictures of Ichigo from the time he was young. This will help kill some time. She looked out of the window. Oh my, it's raining. Back to Ichigo. It started to rain heavily, getting them soaked. Both of them took shelter in an abandoned building near the outskirts of Karakura town. The building was empty, so they decided to occupy one of the rooms for now. They removed their respective clothes and wore some tattered but usable robes that were lying around the place. This was the first time Ichigo laid eyes on her without having his ass kicked. She had luscious black hair, purple eyes, a body that can rival top models. Damn, she's why. Wait, calm down, you are a bird flying in the sky. Come on, pure thoughts, pure thoughts, pure. I see that I have made you hot and bothered. Ichigo, not knowing what she was referencing, gave a look of what are you talking about? Akeno pointed at the ion Ichigo had and gave a smirk. Era, I see that you have a habit of lying, Mr. Shinigami, but your little friend is honest. Tell me, did I turn you on? The smile she was sporting was truly sadistic. Ichigo nodded and Akeno conjured a whip and kept it aside, and Akeno proceeded to lick Ichigo's shaft. The way she did it was extraordinary. He has been with some ladies with extraordinary talent for blow jobs, but Akeno was different. Her BJS made Ichigo feel heat. It was heaven, oh boy, oh boy. Ichigo was filled with ecstasy. It was a glorious. But just then Akeno stopped and tuned away. Ichigo was now confused and horny. Why did you stop? Akeno looked at him. Why did I stop? Don't know. You didn't say anything. I just wanted a wee little taste. Ichigo looked at her in anger, his still throbbing as he was almost about to finish. She looked at him with a grin on her face. Didn't know we are going that route with our relationship. We just met, and do you honestly believe I will dash? Finish it. Akeno looked at Ichigo. What did you say? Ichigo looked at her sternly. I want you to finish what you started. She gave him a grin. Do you think you intimidate me? Boy, you are delusional. Do you want to get shocked? Ichigo got up now, pissed. Give me your best shot, lady. As she was going to launch a bolt at him, when she heard him murmuring an incantation, Bakudo number 1. Sigh. This made Akeno to halt and freeze on the spot. Ichigo spoke up. Now I can't let you start trouble. In a foreign dimension now, can I? He further spoke the incantation Bakudo number 63 Seijo Sabaku and put her down for good. Now listen, I didn't want this to happen, but you forced me to do this. You may be known as the ultimate sadist or whatever, but now you are helpless. She was now helpless. Akeno looked at him. What do I have to do? Ichigo spoke up. What do you mean? She gritted her teeth. Look, I am sorry for toying with you, okay? What do I have to do to make you let me go free? Ichigo came up to her, still having the ion. Finish what you started. Akeno was amazed that he didn't go limp and began ing his Ichigo gripped her and began thrusting. The sensation felt amazing for him. Akeno was getting deep throat action, though how much she wanted to be in denial. But it felt really good. He let his load out into her throat. The sensation of the hot sticky cum inside her throat felt odd yet satisfying. He undid the spells and left her. Akeno then went after him. Hey, wait, please don't go. Ichigo looked at her. What is it? I don't have time for you, I need to go home. My sisters are waiting for me. Ichigo noticed that her face was filled with ecstasy. Akeno spoke up. My body feels hot. Please don't go, I need you. They both lay bare on the floor, both their assets displayed for eye candy. Both unable to suppress their erotic desires, they decide to give in to the no condoms, no fooling around, straight felt good. Ichigo put his in and the walls of her vagina tightened, giving a good pleasurable experience to both of them. Akeno, wow, you are amazing, your vagina is tightening its grip on my. It's too good. The woman devil didn't reply, no words were spoken, only her were heard. She was a virgin and Ichigo was her first real partner. She made a signal for him to start moving and it was an amazing experience. Sure, she had Issei, but if you look in the context of DxD, Issei and the girls never had any UAL encounter, just the occasional tease and flirting. Ichigo decided to taunt her. He pulled out, leaving her in a shock. Why did you stop? It was feeling so good, you were hiding the right spots to turn me on. He grinned and replied, now you know how I felt when you stopped and spouting that nonsense. Akeno's face was red. She wanted Ichigo to continue to have with her, and her I am sorry, please Ichigo, continue. She was getting feisty. I didn't know you were such a slut. No. This kind of surprised her at first, as this type of tone was not used by Ichigo. It was kind of tone that had a sadistic overtone, but somehow the verbal abuse felt good to her. Ichigo continued, I want you to beg for it. Akeno spoke up, please Ichigo, I want it. Ichigo spoke in a slow but dominant voice, I want to hear what is it you want from me. Akeno gritted her teeth. This was so not like her, but first time for everything right. Back in her timeline she was the dominant one, dominant personality, but here she played submissive. It was embarrassing for her to admit, but she had to say. She kind of begged him, please Ichigo, I want you to stick your big juicy in me. Please, I beg you, I am your slut. Ichigo grinned, good girl. He proceeded to penetrate her, and Akeno let out a big. He picked up the pace, and this made her feel more hot and bothered, and the immense UAL tension building in them made it more amazing. They both came together. Akeno lay there all tired and happy. She thought it was over and the UAL adventure had ended. But Ichigo had other plans. The tangerine-haired reaper, not able to hold on to his urges any longer, stuck it in, but not in her vagina, but this time in her butt, and she screamed in blissful agony. This was intense for her, as one, she never had a partner, and two, she never knew would be this intense/likable. Ichigo's massive was hitting her in the right spots. Ichigo asked, are you alright? The girl nodded. I am fine Ichigo, it takes time to get used to having someone penetrate you behind. She winked at him, you can start moving. Ichigo takes the call and starts moving slowly, but the was getting them too much. Exited. Himejima couldn't help but feel ecstasy and stopped the sinking in, and couldn't stop. Ichigo, this feels amazing. It driving me crazy. It was a great moment for both of them, her mind going blank with every thrust of his, the feeling divine. Ichigo agreed this feeling was like anything he ever experienced. Hey Akeno, I'm going to blow, it feels too good. She gave him permission to blow his load. Let it go, it's alright, but no, I am all yours. Ichigo let go, and both screamed in ecstasy. They both lay on the floor hugging each other. She smiled at him and spoke up, well, that was intense, it was amazing. Ichigo blushed, yes that was, sorry for the crud language. She went in at him, filled with passion, you should go home now, I will visit you tomorrow. Ichigo agreed, but before leaving commenced another round of with well-curved bust, the lady Kurosaki Clinic. He reached home around 6 p.m. Unohana opened the door. Ichigo has always had a sense of gratitude to Rukia Kichiki. How she appeared out of nowhere, and changed his life forever. She gave him the powers to fight and defend himself, his family, and most of all his pride as a person. That day, Ichigo would be internally destroyed, as he still can't forgive himself for the death of his mother. This always acts like a base for their relationship, but it was about to change. Ichigo has felt a lot of things: happiness, anger, sadness, betrayal, but nothing could describe what he was feeling these days. Heart racing and beating fast, sudden interest in flowers, dramatic mood swings. Ichigo had no idea what is this damn feeling. It's pretty weird. Maybe I am coming down with a virus or something. This only happened whenever he thought about Rukia. Ichigo lays his on the bed. I think a nap should do it. And slowly drifts to sleep. The next day, Ichigo opened his eyes. It was all hazy. How long did I sleep? Must have dozed off. Ichigo looks at the clock and screams, holy crap, I am so late for class. He took a shower, got dressed in a hurry and went downstairs. Yuzu saw Ichigo and greeted him, "Good morning, big brother, you sure look messed up today." Ichigo gives a smile, "Morning. Sorry Yuzu, have to dash, I can't eat breakfast, I am late to class." Karen steps in front of the door. "What classes, Ichi and I?" "It your day off, dummy." Just then Ichigo sees the calendar. "Oh right, I forgot. Sorry, Karen." Karen laughs. "Pay a little attention, will you? Geez. Now eat your breakfast, will you?" "No, I am not that hungry. I will pass on the offer." Yuzu pulled his ear. "No, you will not skip your meals, eat up." Ichigo said in defense, "It's okay, Yuzu, I am not hungry." Yuzu, taking a knife in her hand, gives him a glare that sends shivers down his spine. "You will eat, or I will make fillets out of you. Got it, mister?" Ichigo nods and eats the food. "Thank you for the food." Yuzu has a chat with Karen when Ichigo goes to work. "Hey Karen, Ichigo has been acting weirdly for a past couple of days, you noticed?" Karen looked at her. "Actually, yeah, I have. He is not acting like he normally would, that's for sure." "I know, right? Something up with him, maybe he is sick or something?" Karen raised an eyebrow. "You tell me what sickness makes you act crazy way early in the morning. Do let me know when you find out." Yuzu thought hard. "Can it be Dash?" "No, I am not thinking straight." "What is it, Yuzu? Tell me." Karen took a sip of juice out of a can. Yuzu spoke. "Could it be Ichigo is in love with someone?" Karen chalked on her drink. "I think you have to get your examined, Yuzu. There is no way Ichigo is love sick. He doesn't show any signs of liking any women." Yuzu gave Karen a wink. "Our brother dear is kind of in that age range where he might fall for the ladies, you know." Karen blinked. "You completely lost me there, sis." Though the thought of Ichigo falling in love with someone was not far-fetched. Even if for a moment we assume that is happening, what are the chances any girl will date him? Yuzu wondered. "The girl I think of is Orheim Ne-chan, that fits that category." Karen sipped her juice. "Orheim Inoue, the girl in Ichi and I class. Now that you mention it, she does act weird around him, as if she is fond of him." Yuzu started daydreaming. "It would be ideal of them ending up together, don't you think, Karen?" "Yeah, both of them are blocks when it comes to love, I guess. One is over-assertive but not making a move, Orheim, and the other is not getting the K's, being past the THWM, and is oblivious, Ichigo." Both the girls start giggling. Yorichi, Soifun, Nimue, Nanao, Rukia, Rangaku, Rinji, Orheim, Ichigo, Chad, Yuri all decided to the beach. All the girls were having fun. Chad and Yuri making lunch for everyone. Yorichi and Soifun went swimming and hunting fish. Rest of the girls were playing strip poker for some reason or the other. But Ichigo was distracted by a sight he will never forget. Rukia was in a bikini that complemented her body type quite well. Her sweat glistened her skin, made it look shiny basically. Ichigo was just standing there looking in awe at Rukia. "Rukia is looking gorgeous today. Should I approach her or no?" He couldn't believe his eyes that this was the same Soul Reaper that he has fought countless battles with in a two-piece bikini that just outlines her curves. "Are you just going to stand there gawking at me all the time we are here?" Rukia calls out to him, seeing him either staring at her or checking her out. Ichigo blushed. "Sorry, didn't mean to stare, forgive me." Rukia gives a sly grin. "You were staring at me, pervert." Ichigo goes into complete denial mode. "No, I am a gentleman, I would never do such a thing." "Well, maybe, I don't know." Rukia was blushing. "Well, what do you think? Do I look good in this swimsuit?" Ichigo cleared his throat. "You look great, Rukia. Stunning, actually. I couldn't take my eyes off you." Rukia smiled. "Thanks, Ichigo. That really nice of you to say." Ichigo couldn't take it anymore. He decided to speak his mind. "Rukia, can we talk for a sec?" Rukia was now puzzled by tone's shift of his voice. "I'm okay, what do you want to talk about?" Ichigo shook his knot. "Here, come with me." They went quite far behind a rock. Rukia now asked him, "What's this about Ichigo?" Ichigo started to speak. "Rukia, thanks for being there for me. Because of you my life changed forever. Because of you now I have power to protect the ones I care for." Rukia held his hand. "You know I am here always, by your side." Ichigo gripped her hand tightly. "But now we can't be friends anymore. The understanding between us has changed a lot. I am sorry I can't see you as my friend anymore." This was a shock to Rukia, as she always thought no matter what they will share a common bond with each other. "Oh, I see, so you mean to say we part ways from here, yes?" With tears in her eyes, thinking that this will be the last time she sees Ichigo, bids him luck and is going to leave. Ichigo stops her. "I said I can't see you as a friend anymore. But I didn't ask you to leave." Rukia looked at him. "What do you mean, Ichigo?" Ichigo finally voiced his feelings. "It's simple, really, I love you." Rukia was generally surprised. She never expected Ichigo to compliment her. She thought he was not able to talk to girls at all beyond the grounds of friendship. "I am sorry, Ichigo, but no, I can't accept." "You are a great person, Ichigo. I really good guy. I can accept because I am not that worthy to be with you. You broke a lot of rules set by the Soul Society just to save me. I see a Sinti, thank you enough for that, and I will stay by your side but not as your partner for Lee." Ichigo pulled her closer to him, and ed her. The of pure passion lasted for almost 5 minutes. Ichigo then spoke to her. Our bond is way stronger than that, Rukia. I don't care about people or the Soul Society, I just want to be with you. Rukia's face was fully red at this point and hugged Ichigo. While this was going on, the rest of the gang had followed them and was staring in awe. Bond between these two is not common. It was Rukia who gave Ichigo powers as a Shinigami way before he realized he had powers of his own. Way before he realized his lineage, that his father is a Shinigami. Shinigami blood runs in his veins. It was Rukia who became a pathway to get into the Shinigami world. Their bonds run deeper, connected by soul. After their initial confession to each other, Rukia and Ichigo decided to take it slow. They didn't want to rush things. But now that they have accepted the fact that they are lovers, it was a little embarrassing for them to be in the same room. 2 months later, Renji and Rukia both came to the world of the living, to visit Ichigo, and hang around for a few days, and were surprised to see Yoruichi standing in front of Ichigo's house. Renji spoke up, "Hey Yoruichi, it's been a while, hasn't it?" She turned to see who it was and smiled, well, if it isn't the lieutenant of Squad 6 and Squad 13, how is everything going in the Soul Society? Rukia sighed, so far it's been kind of boring and pleasant. Boring as in we had a ton of paperwork that seemed to be never-ending, and pleasant as no hollows have showed up. Renji looked at her. I would rather fight than do paperwork. But lately Byakuya has been going on random missions, leaving me to do the damn files. Yoruichi smiled, at least you have something to do, right? The door opened and Ichigo stepped out. What's with the ruckus at 10 o'clock in the morning? Sees his friends. Oh hey guys, what's shaking? All of them said in unison. You. Ichigo invited them in. Renji had to comment, "Well man, you look like you have been hit by a truck. You okay, Ichigo?" He nodded. Yeah, I am fine. It's just Yuzu and Karen. Yuzu got a high fever last week and was on bed rest. While taking care of her, Karen also got sick. Now I am taking care of both. Yoruichi went up to Ichigo. Don't worry, I will make something light but filling for them and they will feel better. You mind me using your kitchen? Ichigo nodded to indicate a no, and she proceeded to the kitchen. He looked at Renji. So what are you guys here for in Karakura town anyway? Renji spoke. We got a time of for a few days, maybe 5 depending on the captain. Damn, they sure are lucky. They at least can do some task or the other and be relevant for the Godai 13. While I hardly ever get called up these days to assist in missions, they just tell me to not get in their way. Ichigo thought. After some time, Yoruichi came out of the kitchen with a bowl of soup in her hand. Take this soup and feed them. It will make a lot of difference. Ichigo was looking away at that time and didn't realize it until he saw Renji and Rukia reaction. Guys, what are you dash? Huh. Yoruichi was wearing nothing but an apron, the apron kind of complementing her curves, her peeking from them. This made Ichigo and Renji get a nosebleed and Rukia just staring at the beauty in awe. Yoruichi spoke up. Ichigo, if you can take this to your sisters, they will feel better. Ichigo grabbed a tissue, pad the blood from his nose, and took the soup to his lovely sisters. Rukia asked her did she put anything in the soup, and Yoruichi nodded. Yeah, I did. It's Silk remedy for cold and flu. He created it for Soul Reapers, and Yururu and Jita uses it when they get sick. It takes 3 days for the cold or flu to go away, but it relieves then of pain, nose blockage and any other effects of the cold so they can sleep peacefully. As you know, sleep is necessary. After all, they all agreed to it. Yoruichi allowed Renji to stay with them and asked if Rukia will be alright staying here with Ichigo was okay with her. Rukia nodded. It's fine, plus I always stay in Ichigo's room. But this time I want to help him with getting Yuzu and Karen back to health. They respected her decision and left. Before they left, Yoruichi gave her 2 vials of the powder she used in the soup. Ichigo came downstairs to Rukia, closing the main door. They left, huh? Well, that was a quick visit. Rukia smiled. Well, they might not be around, but I am here. I will try and help out as much as I can. Ichigo found this side of her cute and gave her on the cheek. I know you will. I am counting on you. Rukia closed her eyes and nodded. Timax and factor, you can say. It can make or break relationships, even strongest of bonds, and many other elements can also factor in. Now we just have to see how the Ichiruki bond will hold up. Meanwhile, Yuzu and Karen are in bed, sick, discussing about the events that transpired. Karen and Yuzu got the news of Ichigo proposing to Rukia from Orheim. At first they were surprised that Ichigo would be bold enough to do that, but they didn't mind cause they felt happy for Ichigo. Yuzu looked at Karen with a grin. Our big brother has grown up to be daring, huh? Proposing in front of everyone. Karen just smiled. Well, he is 18, he might have urges, it's actually kind of normal for his age according to Dad. They both begin to daydream about how the confession scene went and giggled. Both had their own ideas. One thought of a romantic setting, the other thought of a funny one. One thought of a tragic scene, the other thought of heartwarming one. Time flew by in their argument over the topic Ichigo love life. Ichigo went to their room to check on them. He walked in and saw them giggling. What's going on? What's so funny? Care to explain? They turn around to see Ichigo standing there. Karen then says, Oh Ichigo, hi, don't worry, it's nothing. Karen decided to be cryptic about how she approaches Ichigo. Hey Ichi, can I ask you something? Ichigo nodded. What is it? Fire away. Karen goes up to him. I have a friend whose older brother is in some trouble. Ichigo looks at her. Trouble? What's up? Karen continues. Well, she has an older brother as I stated. The problem is that he has a crush on this girl, and proposed to her, all romantic and all, but the girl is not sure at all if she feels the same way or not, and somehow their classmates get a whiff of this, and it becomes too awkward for them. As a guy yourself, do you have something to say? Ichigo finds her story pretty much similar to his situation with Rukia from their day at the beach, but dismisses the thought that they know about his affection for her, so he decides to give them the answer that he sees fit. Listen Karen, I don't know the situation about this guy and the description is vague, but I got the gist of it at least. It doesn't matter if everyone found out about their little co-confession, what matters is this guy likes the girl and has stated his views for her, so it's clear he loves her. Even if the girl went away in embarrassment, distance isn't an issue, it's their choice, their journey, their decision. If the feelings are same, then he should go forth and settle down with her, or at least start dating, bare minimum. Both the sisters stared at him in awe. They had no idea Ichigo could be this philosophical. Ichigo looked at them. If you guys are done, I am ing to my room, see ya. Elsewhere, Rukia was sitting near the window looking out wide in thought. She remembered Ichigo's words that he spoke to her. Our bond is way stronger than that, Rukia. I don't care about people or the soul society, I just want to be with you. Rukia began to blush thinking about it. She thought to herself, I don't know where I stand with you and I don't know what I mean to you. All I know is when I think about you, Ichigo room same time. Ichigo thought about Rukia while sitting on his bed. My heart will always belong to you. True love is knowing that the person has faults, but loving them even more for that fact. Together Ichiruki, I love you. I hope you are okay, and remember, I am here for you. Ichigo came downstairs to find Rukia in the kitchen cooking something. He was surprised that Rukia was cooking a meal. I didn't know you could cook, Rukia. She looked at the orange hair and smiled. Yeah, I know how to cook. Sometimes it is my job to cook in the Kichiki household. She got the boiling pot down and opened the lid. It's nothing fancy, just some vegetable stew. You are working high and low for your sisters. You need rest and something to eat. Ichigo was touched to think that somebody cared for him this much. Rukia's kind words and action were similar to his mom Masaki. He was glad that he has such a good friend. Ichigo was even more surprised by her cooking. It was very delicious and could give Yuzu a run for her money. For the love of everything holy, this is delicious. Rukia began to laugh. You don't have to over-exaggerate. I think my cooking is mediocre at best, nothing fancy. Ichigo looked at her after finishing the food. Are you kidding me? You can give Yuzu a tough competition. When it comes to food, she is like unbeatable. He leans closer to her. Besides, whatever you do, I will be here for you. Don't belittle yourself. You are talented at Kido, and you have good cooking skills. Rukia was happy that she was getting praise from her potential lover, and they both ate. Filled with passion, they separated, feeling very hot under the collar. Ichigo tried to make a move but was stopped by Rukia. We decided to take it slow, didn't we? Kisuke heard how Ichigo and Rukia are getting together, and sent them a book. First, both named individuals didn't get why they got the cook and read the letter they got with the book. Pro tips by Kisuke Urahara. Unohana woke up early that morning still feeling bit tired but didn't want to go back to sleep. She stared at the person sleeping next to her. Ichigo Kurosaki, a boy with many talents and flaws. This aspect of him always intrigued Unohana. That's why she came close to him and formed a bond. But lately she has been feeling that Ichigo was ignoring her. It might be my imagination, but he doesn't seem to be interested in me anymore. Ichigo woke up to find Unohana staring at him. Good morning, Retsu, what's the matter? Is something bothering you? Unohana noticed that her bunk mate is awake. Oh, good morning, Ichigo. Did you have a good night's sleep? Ichigo nodded. Yeah, I did, but you kind of look kind of down. Are you okay? 2 days ago, Urahara's shop/flashback. Unohana decided to visit Yoruchi for a girl-on-girl talk. When she entered the shop could be heard. Unohana went in and peeked in through the sliding door of Kisuke's bedroom. Yoruchi giving him a nice BJ that made Kisuke. After some time she added her to the mix ing his shaft while giving him a titty. Unohana wondered, why do men like it when their shaft is between the breast of a woman? Does it provide an amazing sensation? She wondered, as she never indulged in it with any partner she has ever been with. God knows how long ago that was, and even in recent times with Ichigo. Yoruchi moved away from him for a moment, and reached out for a tube. Unohana paid attention as she was intrigued by the tube. She saw Yoruchi take out the sum of its contents, looks like gel, and rubbed on her, in between, and proceeded to Kisuke. Unohana immediately knew what that was. It was a lube that helps in UAL stimulation. Kisuke said loudly, Yoruchi, I am going to. He shot a lot of jizz on her face and breast. Yoruchi just purred and spoke up, well, that takes care of your ion for now. Go and work, you lazy salesman. Kisuke nodded yeah, and went outside. Yorichi proceeded to the showers to clean up. Unohana followed her in, suppressing her spiritual pressure. Yorichi switched on the hot water and took a shower. Unohana couldn't bear it and decided to join her. She took off her shihakusho, bra and panties, wet from watching, and snuck up on the dark-skinned beauty and ed her passionately. Still in shock but liking the circumstances, she had her back. Yorichi decided to ask question later and continue the thing they were engaged in. She noticed that Unohana was in heat, and maybe she came to the shop and found Kisuke and her going at it. Yoriko pushed her to the wall and began ing her neck. She then proceeded to go down until her and began liking her ass. This made Unohana in. While her partner was ing her, Unohana began to finger Yorichi. This made Yorichi gasp and gave a smirk. They both looked at each other and grinned. Yorichi also began to finger Unohana, and after some time they both came. They lay on the floor pleasuring each other, and Unohana laid on top of the dark lady and began liking her womanhood. Yorichi followed suit, but she added something extra. She fingered the captain as well as liking her. They both came together. Yorichi reached out into the cabinet and pulled out a strap-on dildo, the sight of which made Unohana lick her lips. Yorichi grinned, want a taste, Unohana. Unohana smirked, don't mind if I do, and began ing on it, imagining of a man, of Ichigo, as if he was sitting there in front of her, seducing her with his. This made her on it more, her thoughts making her reasoning melt, and proceeded on pure. After a while she let go, leaving the thing covered in saliva. Unohana turned around, giving her case to put it in. Yorichi proceeded to lube the thing, and put it in. It was an interesting feeling indeed, but not as good as how a real one felt, especially Ichigo's. Unohana was ing her sounds were a mix of pain and Yorichi seeing her partner made her horny. It was nice to see this side of Unohana. Yorichi spoke up, you can all you want, we are in a sound-suppressing barrier. Your screams and won't be heard. She looked at Unohana's nice body and attractive round ass. My, you sure have a great and wide body. A lot of girls would love to have a body as yours. She came close and whispered, guys would want to pounce on this tasty meat, referring to her ass, especially your secret lover. Unohana looked at her. She knows about Ichigo and her having an intimate connection. Before she could confirm her suspicions, Yorichi pulled out and put it in her ass. This made Unohana scream in sheer ecstasy, and they continued till climax. After their close intimate time in the showers, Yorichi and Unohana had a talk. Y equals Yorichi, U equals Unohana. Why, you shouldn't be surprised that I know about it. You, I am not surprised at all, just wondering how you got to know. Why, I have my ways. Anyway, you wanted to talk. You, I feel as of late, Ichigo was been avoiding me. Sure, we go exterminate hollows together, but that bond between us that formed that night is gone, I think. He doesn't seem interested in me at all. In one or two occasions he came home late. Why, so you are saying he might be seeing some other girl, and is not interested in you anymore? Unohana nodded, and Yorichi sighed. Why, when did you guys start dating again? You, after he became a lieutenant of Squad 10. Unohana remembered that first night where Ichigo expressed his feelings for her. Ichigo blushed red. So I love you, and I want to be with you. Unohana blushed, imagining what will others say about their relationship. Ichigo looked at her, knowing what she was thinking, pulled her close into a deep. Don't worry about the others, just tell me your answer. Unohana nodded, I love you to Ichigo. Ichigo nodded, and they both ed into the shower together to save time. Ichigo ed Retsu in the shower, and it led to another round of intense ing. Why, I see, so you have met him from time to time. You, yes, I have been in night time, in my quarters or his, but it's usually mine. Why, how many times though? You want me to list down all my meeting with him? Why, yes, please. You, 8 times for intimate reasons, 4 times on rounds, 6 times just casual meeting when he comes to my office, before coming here. Why, when did he become a lieutenant again? You, 2 months ago. Why, wow, just wow, she smiles. You worry too much, why don't you ask him yourself? Present Ichigo bedroom. I equals Ichigo, U equals Unohana. Unohana looked at Ichigo with concern. You, Ichigo, did I do something wrong or something to upset you? Why are you asking that question all of a sudden? You have been ignoring me for some time now. You don't talk to me like you used to. Ichigo was silent. He didn't know what to say to her, and he knew he was ignoring her, not for the fact that the bond between them has weakened. It was just he couldn't tell her about Akeno and the confession to Rukia. He wanted to stay true to her, to Unohana, but his mind was in turmoil. It feels that you don't see me as your lover anymore and maybe moved on. You see me as a partner in fighting hollows. Ichigo knelt in and ed her. It was filled with passion and something else, as if Ichigo wanted to tell something but was hesitant. Unohana looked at him. You can tell me what's bothering you. Ichigo looked her in the eyes and his meeting with Akeno, and his confession to Rukia. He told her everything and was waiting for her to shout, and see a look on her face filled with disgust and hate. To his surprise he saw a warm smile on her face, and she spoke, "Oh, is that all? Thank God." What? It hot you would get mad at me and send me to the depths of hell. That would be an interesting option. As for your statement, I should send you to the depths of hell. Well sorry Count. No it won't. Okay, but I won't take offense to the fact that you have been intimate with other girl. Which I should. Rukia posse's no threat to me, but this other girl you speak of is quite fond of you. Yeah, you could put it like that, I guess. And I suspect you did it with Isane as well. Ichigo was now worried. How did she know about that? I have been closely observing her since you joined the Squad 10. She has been acting strange and I am pretty sure she has a lingering affection for you. So I pretty much could come to that conclusion that she might have taken you and gone to bed with you. I don't know what to say. You don't say anything, just be by my side. I am not the type to get jealous of this flings. It might get interesting in the future. Ichigo calmed down. Her smile was enchanting as usual. So now on you are not avoiding me, got it? Yes ma'am. Ishin was not at home and Yuzu and Karen had gone to school, leaving them all alone. Unohana just in case put up a sound-suppressing barrier and they went into the shower together. In the steamy shower only their echoed, but no one can hear them, due to the barrier. Bare in the shower they at each other, Unohana stroking Ichigo while he fingered her womanhood both in. They stopped and Unohana proceeded to his neck and then licked it. Ichigo liked the sensation, as Unohana started going south. Retsu, that feels great. Unohana licked her lips and licked the tip of his. This made sparks of go down Ichigo's spine. Unohana thought to mix it up a little. She stopped and went into the room. Ichigo, now confused, and just stood there. Unohana came back with a tube in her hand. Ichigo wondered, a tube of gel, what for? Unohana came in and knelt down and applied the gel in between her. Ichigo got a hint that it might be lube but didn't say anything. Unohana proceeded to wrap his with her and began moving them up and down. This was the first time he was getting a boob job and it felt great. Retsu smiled. You like Ichigo, special service for you, so enjoy. She liked the tip of his while she tit at him. The stimulation was too much and hot cream was released covering Retsu's face and breast. She liked the jizz of her breast in a seductive manner. Seeing this, Ichigo became hard again. Retsu laughed seeing his hard member someone getting naughty, and took him to the bed. Retsu purred, it's not fair that you have all the fun. Why don't you come here and do the same to me? Ichigo went and bent down in front of his lover and ate her. Then he proceeded to her neck. He went on to lick her breast. This made her oh yes Ichigo more. He began to lick around the for some time and then began her breast. He proceeded to do the same treatment to her other breast as well. When he ate on both the breast at the same time, this broke her and made her climax. But Ichigo didn't stop there. He fingered her womanhood. Oh my Ichigo, don't stop. This made her come again. Ichigo proceeded to lick her womanhood. No Ichigo, stop, I am still sensitive. Ichigo spoke up, you did me, now I do you. Then he grinned, or you want me to stop? It could be kind of like this new side of Ichigo. She wanted to stop as it was not right but was in heat. Please don't stop. Ichigo went back to lick her womanhood, stating, who is the pervert now? His liking made her climax one more time. Ichigo was now in heat, clouding his mind, and was still hard. Both unable to suppress their erotic desires, they died to give in to the no condoms, no fooling around, straight felt good. Ichigo put his in and the walls of her vagina tightened, giving a good pleasurable experience to both of them. Retsu, wow, it's amazing. You are amazing. Your walls is tightening its grip on my. It's too good. Retsu didn't reply. In fact, she couldn't reply. No words were spoken, only her were heard. Ichigo decided to taunt her. He pulled out, leaving her in a shock. Why did you stop? It was feeling so good. You were hiding the right spots to turn me on. He grinned and replied, I didn't know you were such a slut. This kind of surprised her at first, as this type of tone was not used by Ichigo, but somehow the verbal abuse felt good for her. The massive tone change made her eager to continue. Ichigo continued, I want you to beg for it. Retsu blushed as he was taking the dominant role. She played along and spoke up, please Ichigo, I want it. Ichigo spoke in a slow but dominant voice, I want to hear what is it you want from me. She begged him, please Ichigo, I want you to stick your big juicy in me. Please, I beg you, I am your slut. Please just do it. I can't wait. Retsu was to her peak, setting its grip deeper. Ichigo grinned, good girl. Ichigo loved up his and asked, where do you want it? Retsu grinned as she took some lube and stated, fingering her behold to open. Anywhere is okay. Your choice, tangerine. Ichigo, not able to hold on to his urges any longer, stuck it in, but not in her vagina but this time in her butt, and she screamed in blissful agony. This was intense for her, as it's been a while, Ichigo's massive was hitting her in the right spots. Ichigo asked, "You alright, Retsu?" The girl nodded. "I am fine, Ichigo. It takes time to get used to having someone penetrate you behind." She winked at him. "You can start moving." Ichigo takes the call and starts moving slowly, but the was getting them too much. Exited. Retsu couldn't stop this sinking in, and couldn't stop Ichigo. "This feels amazing. It driving me crazy." It was a great moment for both of them, her mind going blank with every thrust of his, the feeling divine. Ichigo agreed this feeling was like anything he ever experienced. "Hey listen, I'm going to blow, it feels too good." She gave him permission to blow his load. "Let it go, give in." He heard Shiro laugh. "Let it go, let it go. Let all your dignity follow." Ichigo spoke to him. "Shut it," with the frozen reference. Ichigo let go, and both screamed in ecstasy. They both lay on the floor hugging each other. She smiled at him and spoke up. "Well, that was intense, it was amazing." Ichigo stood up and pinned her on the wall, and picked her up. Retsu wrapped her legs around his waist, and Ichigo supports her by holding her bottom and back and penetrated her. They had for some time changing locations on the couch, in the kitchen, etc. Then they stopped, got freshen up, exchanging yes while dressing and waiting for the twins to return. A silhouette watches them and comments, "Interesting, it's time we meet." Ichigo. While resting, Ichigo suddenly found himself in his inner world. Wow, what's going on? Suddenly a very cool breeze started to flow, and he saw a lady in a white kimono staring at him. "Ah, Ichigo Kurosaki, we finally meet." Ichigo looked at her. "Who are you?" She smiles. "Oh, my apologies, didn't introduce myself. I am Sodi no Shiryuki, nice to meet you." After 5 months of battling Hollow, the captain and lieutenant duo took a much-needed rest. They looked exhausted and needed a breather, noticing the tired look on both their faces. Karen spoke up. "Man, you guys look dead as a corpse these past few days." Ichigo looked at her and nodded, and Unohana just smiled. "It's nothing to worry about, we are just tired from our daily night explorations, that's all." Karen grinned. "Does the words night explorations have air quotes on it? Cause I get the feeling you guys are up to something naughty." Kigo, who is sitting in the living room playing cards with Tatsuki, Mizuru and Chizuru, listening in on the convo between the siblings. Kigo sighed. "How come Ichigo got such a nice woman to go out with him? He is oblivious when it comes to love." Yuzu brought them some lemonade. "Here you go guys, something to cheer you up." The gang thanked her for the drink, and Yuzu spoke up. "Oh Kigo, you don't have to worry about my brother's love life. I can take care of that." Kigo felt a bit uneasy by that comment. Chizuru's eyes lit up. "I can already imagine him getting all funky with her." Everyone looked at her, but she smirked. "Ah, come on, most of the nights they are out doing God knows what, and don't you think maybe he pounced on her when he had a chance? You said he is oblivious to love, but I have seen him staring at Miss Unohana with a look of want in his eyes." Tatsuki shrugged it. "Of no way that will ever happen. Ichigo and Unohana together, you must be reading those Ichi-based manga again, you perverted girl." Tatsuki looked at Ichigo and let out a sigh. They were good friends, but was never vocal about her feeling for him. She let that thought subside and played her turn. "Full house," she screamed. "A hot spring trip?" Ichigo looked at Karen with a hint of bewilderment. "Why would I want to go to the hot springs?" Karen sighed. "It will help you relax, Ichi, and I help you think." Ichigo refused. Karen pissed took a hold of Ichigo's collar and whispered in his ears, "Half of the time you are away from home, and the other half you spend locked up in your room with Miss Unohana going crazy." Ichigo whispered, "I don't know what you talking about." Karen smirked. "Oh please, God bless Yuzu's soul for being oblivious. Yuzu thinks the house is possessed by a ghost or something when she hears in the night, but I know what's up. You cheeky perverted brother of mine, you want me to spell out what he signify?" Ichigo gulped, his throat dry as a dessert. He realized Karen knows about what activities the two indulge in. Unohana didn't pick up on their convo yet, but the question stood, how come she knows all of this crap? She's only 13 years old. Another shout from Tatsuki. "Full house. She's on a roll." Ichigo looked at her direction. "Damn, she's loud." Unohana let out a chuckle. Ichigo looked at her in surprise. "What's so funny?" Unohana shook her own nothing. Karen smiled. "You know you guys would make a good couple?" Ichigo looked at Karen, then at Unohana, and blushed. "Ah, Ichigo is blushing. That's the first time I have seen him do that. Cute." It was Yuzu who came to give them the glasses filled with lemonade. "Here you go, one for each of you." All three of them thanked Yuzu, and Yuzu turned to Ichigo. "You look horrible. I have an idea. Why don't you visit the hot springs day after tomorrow with Miss Unohana? It will help calm the nerves." Ichigo refused the offer but got a look of disappointment from Unohana. "Sad, I would love to go to the hot springs, but alas it won't come to fruition." Poor Ichigo had no say in the matter and took Unohana to the hot springs. Hot spring owner: "Sorry sir, but the men's baths are closed for repairs." Unohana: "That's fine, can book the women's bath for a while so we can share. Kind of like a mixed bath." Hot spring owner: "Sure, it's been slow today, not a lot of customers came by, so go on. Okay, all caught up, good." Now to the good stuff, winking face, smiling face with smiling eyes. Ichigo was out of the changing room first, and went into the bath first, followed by Unohana. Both faced the opposite side, both quiet. Unohana broke the silence. So why were you hesitating to come here? What's wrong? Ichigo just shook his. It's nothing for you to worry about. Unohana spoke up. Am I bothering you? Would you rather come here alone than with me, I guess? It's not your company that's bothering me? Unohana looked at him. Please tell me. I used to come here with my mother when I was young, before Yuzu and Karen came into my life. After the accident with her passing away, I stopped coming here. Unohana hugged him from behind. I didn't know that. It must be hard for you. And you came because I insisted. Thank you. Ichigo's face was red with embarrassment, as her melons were squeezing against his back, making his poll rise to the top in attention. Unohana noticed the change and grinned. Oh my, someone is enjoying this too much, I see. I will help the little guy relax. Following suit, she began to stroke his long. The orange hair let out a low indicating he liked it. This made Unohana smile wickedly and began to message his family jewels. This felt amazing and weird at the same time. Unohana began to nibble on his ear and with the other touching herself. In no time she made Ichigo submit to his animal side as he was begging to lay his paws on her. Retsu, I can't hold on. Unohana smiled. Go right and release. And so he did. It felt great. He saw that she was liking her hands all oily, which was all covered in his seed, and winked at him. She murmured a few words and opened her eyes and looked at him and smiled. That sure was fun, wasn't it, Ichigo? She grinned, ready for round two. She got up, allowing Ichigo to get a full-on view of her wet body, water drops sliding on her, and giving signs for Ichigo to take her right there and then. He couldn't wait, and went towards her, holding her firmly yet gently, and began to initiate a passionate, but the twist was Retsu was now asserting dominance through the. This display of power was surprising to Ichigo, but didn't mind it. In fact, he liked it. Without thinking, he picked up Unohana and pinned her on a wall. Unohana in turn crossed her arms and legs, putting him in a lock of love. He proceeded to her neck, which earned a low from his partner. He stopped, and started liking her neck, which made her laugh as he was trying to get her aroused, which she found cute. She deepened the and began to stroke his member. The two ed in ecstasy as it felt good. Ikogo let her down, and kneeled so that he had a clear view of her womanhood, and went in. Wait, what are you doing? Unohana retorted. Ichigo replied, I want you to feel good as well. This made her blush, and she stroked his hair while he was face deep in her womanhood. It took a while, but he made her. Unohana just giggled. Ichigo wanted to go all the way. He was very awestruck seeing her bare body in all of its glory, her curves and a right amount of tanning on the skin to make it more hot. He didn't have a reason to hold back anymore. She was right there, bare. Wet. All it will take is one call to unleash the animal inside. Not hollow, Ichigo. Unohana laid down and spread her legs. If you want it, come and get it. Ichigo, clearly in heat, asked, you sure it okay? She nodded. Ichigo, I want you now. We have come this far, so it doesn't really matter. But if you aren't comfortable, we can stop. Ichigo came closer and ed her, filled with passion. He moved away, a line of saliva connecting them. No, I want this. Let's continue. Ichigo, not able to hold on to his urges any longer, stuck it in, but not in her behind, but in the baby maker. Unohana screamed in blissful agony. Ichigo's massive was hitting her in the right spots. Ichigo looked her in the eyes. Are you ready to go all the way? Unohana let out and 5 words came out of her. Yes, give it to me. They made love till they were exhausted. Ichigo spoke up. Hey, don't you think we would be found out by now how much sounds we were making in here? Unohana shook her. No, I knocked everyone in here out with a spell. They will be sleeping now. Ichigo ed her one last time before they went to their rooms. Ichigo went to the Soul Society for some time to report their progress on the hollow extermination mission they got a while back, as they were having trouble in contacting them from their end. He reported to Byakuya Kachiki, the Squad 6 captain, who questioned his decision. Wouldn't it be wise to inform the captain yourself, Ichigo? Rather than telling me about this, you should have reported to him on your own. Ichigo's side shut at Byakuya. Don't you think I have tried that the moment I came back? The captain is not in his barracks at the moment. His third seat officer informed me that he has gone to a meeting with the Central 46, and won't be back for a week. Byakuya, stoic as ever, nodded. I see. Very well, I will inform him when he comes back. After a brief training session with Rukia, he had out of the Squad 13 barracks. He looked at the sky, a very pleasant breeze blowing. I wonder what Isane is doing right now. Should check up on her. He had out to the Squad 4 barracks. Once he reached there, he saw Isane going out of the barracks carrying 2 big baskets. Ichigo spoke up. Seems you have a problem there. I don't mind helping out. Isane looked up to find her crush standing there smiling at her. Oh, Ichigo, yeah, I do require some assistance with these baskets. Ichigo nodded and took one of them from her hands. So where are you, Ed, with these? Isane smiled. It's my job to go to the Squad 4 herb garden and pick out some medical plants so that we can make medicines and ointments. Ichigo raised an eyebrow. I thought you guys used some healing keto to treat the people. Isane nodded yes, but most of the time we use special medicated herbs to treat the troops. Plus these herbs are quite the miracle worker. I don't know how Captain Unohana does it, but she takes care of the garden and puces the herbs that we need, all by herself. Ichigo had to admit that taking care of a garden was no joke, and pucing and maintaining a steady supply of herbs is of the chain difficult if you are doing it all alone. They arrived at the garden and Ichigo was amazed at how much big it was. And she looks after this giant-ass garden, you got to be kidding me. Isane just giggled at his reaction and continued with collecting the herbs. She gave a list with pictures of the herbs to Ichigo so that he can collect some as well. Together they finished by noon. Ichigo left the herds in the medical wing with Hanataro and was about to leave when he was stopped on his tracks by Isane. When was the last time you had a medical checkup? Ichigo didn't know when was the last time he did have one. Hanataro, take Mr. Kurosaki to treatment room number 69 at once. Hanataro nodded and took him to the room as requested. Isane gave him a full body checkup to see if everything is alright. And as he was wearing his hakama pants again, she ate his cheek. Thank you for the help with the herbs. Ichigo shook his no need for thanks, Isane. I am glad I got to help you. Isane came close to him, held his hands gently, and ate him. I want to repay you. Come by my place in the evening. And left to do her own work, leaving Ichigo standing there in a daze. Later that evening, Ichigo arrived at the barracks as instructed by her, and went towards the lieutenant's room. He knocked at the door. He waited for her to answer. Isane came out wearing a beautiful blue kimono, and she looked amazing. You, the reader, would have a hard time not staring at her, because it was very hard on Ichigo. Part XD. Ichigo said to her, Hi Isane, my god, you look amazing in that kimono. She smiled. I am glad you like it, do come in. Ichigo entered and he was feeling a bit uneasy as he never entered a girl's room, not even his sister's room, so thus was a new experience altogether. Except for the fact he had been in Unohana's room and vice versa. Isane directed him to a table set up with candle lights. This is a meal prepared by me. It is my way of thanking you. Please go and have some. Ichigo was honored as his lovely companion and best had taken efforts to make a meal for him. Thank you, Isane, for making this meal for me. It's really tasty, and can I have a second serving? Isane giggled and passed him some more. They both sat and ate the food. It was a party of flavors in Ichigo. After their meal had ended, they decided to spice things up a bit. Thus it began. The two wrapped their hands around each other and ate passionately. They separate, only a string of saliva connecting them. Isane's eyes now filled with removed his hakama pants to reveal his long. She looked at in bewilderment as she smirked and looked at him in way and then proceeded further. She stroked it and began liking the tip. This was a great experience for Ichigo, as Yorichi was straight away went from licking to a wet, slimy BJ session. Ichigo furiously, and this made her happy. Does the fellatio feel that good? Brace yourself, there's a lot more in store. Ichigo grew louder, his face displaying pure ecstasy. Finally he came in her without warning, a nice big load. Instead, troughing up, Isane swallowed the cum. My, that's a big one. You sure were pent up, storing that load for some time, I presume. Then she began to him, New York, putting his between her melons and began moving up and down his shaft. Their eyes met for a sec and they understood what the other wanted and smiled. They wanted to take it even further. Like an aphrodisiac effect, they were going on in pure. Ichigo felt embarrassed more than ever now. But he noticed something that made him smile. I see I am not the only one holding it back. She grinned as she was aware her panty was soaking wet, and she was horny as hell. Well, you know, patience has its own rewards, don't you agree? And leaned in for a. This went on for a while. Isane then proceeded to remove her panties in a teasing manner. Ichigo spoke softly. You are such a tease, Isane, you are such a tease. This statement earned a giggle out of her, as this side of her personality was new to her, and she relished it. This is only for you, so sit back and enjoy. She put on a strip-tease show, much to Ichigo's surprise, which made him horny as hell. Both unable to suppress their erotic desires, they died to give in to the. No condoms, no fooling around, straight felt good. Ichigo put his in and the walls of her vagina tightened, giving a good pleasurable experience to both of them. Wow, you are amazing. Your V-spot is tightening its grip on my. It's too good. The silver-haired lady didn't reply. No words were spoken, only her were heard. It was too damn good and was lost in the experience. Ichigo decided to taunt her. He pulled out, leaving her in a shocked state, desiring for more. Why did you stop? It was feeling so good. You were hiding the right spots to turn me on. He grinned and replied, I didn't know you were so naughty. I feel like you are not working hard enough to please me, you slut. This kind of surprised her at first, as this type of tone was not used by Ichigo, but somehow the verbal abuse felt good for her. It was turning her on for some reason. Ichigo continued, I want you to beg for it. She spoke up, please Ichigo, I want it. Ichigo spoke up, I can't hear you. Isane, Ed, please sir, I want it bad. Ichigo spoke in a slow but dominant voice. I want to hear what is it you want from me. Shino begged him. Please Ichigo, I want you to stick your big juicy in me. Please, I beg you, I am your slut. Ichigo grinned. Good girl. Ichigo, not able to hold on to his urges any longer, stuck it in, but not in her vagina, but this time in her butt, and she screamed in blissful agony. This was intense for her, as it had been a while since her last session with her dominant lover. Ichigo's massive was hitting her in the right spots. She winked at him. You can start moving. Ichigo takes the call and starts moving slowly, but the was getting them too much. Exited. Isane couldn't stop the sinking in, and couldn't stop Ichigo. This feels amazing. It driving me crazy. It was a great moment for both of them, her mind going blank with every thrust of his the felling divine. Ichigo agreed this feeling was like anything he ever experienced. Hey Isane, I'm going to blow, it feels too good. She gave him permission to blow his load. Let it go, give two to me, you can release inside, hurry. Ichigo let go, and both screamed in ecstasy. They both lay on the floor hugging each other. She smiled at him and spoke up. Well, that was intense, it was amazing. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow the Lord Darkness 69 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.